The key to the establishment and endurance of any permanent human settlement is a reliable source of food. In Kaimere, a wide range of wild and domesticated flora and fauna are the foundation of their diets. The diverse and dynamic climate and terrain of the known world has heavily influenced what Kaimerans eat and how they prepare it, culminating in an impressive variety of cuisines. An important differentiating factor between Kaimeran and human cuisine is one of caloric intake. The hereditary magic that gives them their long lives, enhanced immune systems, and superior physical attributes is extremely demanding. Kaimerans need, on average, twice as much food as a human of the same size and lifestyle. Many cultures utilize staples that are secondarily domesticated crops, originally enchanted by the first children to grow rapidly and have high productivity. These magical crops provide the foundation of Kaimeran cuisine. Perhaps it is because of the enhanced durability of Kaimerans, but they are consistently drawn to consume a wide range of things, and many of their favorite ingredients are toxic to humans. None are more famous for this than the Shu. The Hausi Prairie is a volatile place with a notorious selection of toxic flora and fauna. The grass itself has a mild poison in its seeds. There are scorpions, vipers, myriad venomous insects, poisonous cacti, multituberculates, several toxic reptiles and amphibians of unique Kaimeran clades, and the hangman's vine, which infects prairie maples and is coated in an adhesive wax that, once the victim is ensnared, the plant will release a toxic powder. All of these and more are enthusiastically incorporated into Shu cuisine. The two alcohols that they drink the most, Hausi beer and cactus liquor, are both poisonous to those not of Shu descent. The sheer amount of poisons that Shu have incorporated into their diet means that much of their cuisine is incompatible with the diets of other Kaimerans. In some circles, Shu cuisine has a reputation for being bland, but really they're just removing all of the flavorful ingredients out of respect for the health and wellness of their guests of other ethnic groups. The wide variety of dinosaurs in Kaimere has resulted in a high diversity of sizes and flavors of eggs, and Kaimerans have tried them all. In Picardia, Karatean hunters often brave the heavily defended titanosaur nesting colonies to collect these massive eggs, which weigh around 5 pounds each, have a viscous interior, and are packed with calories. It is popular to bake these circular eggs by setting them around a fire and rotating them for an even cook, then enjoying the egg with a shell as its own dish. The 8-pound eggs of the Thescelosaur jugashen are the most eagerly pursued and highest priced. They have dense whites and yolks to the point that they do not leak when cut or cracked, and a diet primarily consisting of rich wetland plants results in potent and distinct flavors. The eggs of other Thescelosaurs share this viscous texture, and the domesticated species are all used in a variety of dishes. Some eggs, like those of Megaraptorans, cockatrices, and courser drakes, are said to be oily and gamey, but this may just be a reputation to deter raiding of nests that could result in retaliation and ultimately man-eaters. The mantra, "You are what you eat," is reflected in the taste of a given animal. An animal that has subsisted on fish is going to have a piscine flavor. Creatures subsisting primarily on fruit often have a sweetness to their meat, and so on. Because of this, carnivores tend to have a flavor that is very rich and saturated, with a concentration of their own natural tastes combined with the meat of their kills, which can often lead to a rotten flavor. This potent taste is off-putting to most, but the strength of the flavor can be quite popular with the right dish. As much as 80% of meat cockatrices feed on is scavenged. Their meat has a notoriously rancid flavor, and their muscles are of an extremely lean texture. There is no fat on a wild cockatrice. To most, this combination of meat that tastes rotten and has a lean, dry texture is singularly unappealing. However, there are exceptions. In keeping with their toxin-packed cuisine, the Shu are known to incorporate running vultures into their dishes with the fat of camel humps to counter the dryness. It's a dish of such potent flavors that most find it overpowering, but many Shu look forward to it at their festivals, and there's a bit of prestige in enjoying something intolerable to most people. The trend of carnivorous animals being unappealing does have its exceptions. Perhaps the most famous is the Nehamu, relic of the Tyrant dynasty. For most of the year, these generalists subsist on a range of scavenged game, slow armored prey, and other theropods. They are notorious theropod killers, with thick, flexible skin enabling them to endure the punishing claws, horns, and fangs of their opponents, and breaking bones with one of the most powerful jaws in Kaimere. They are slow, but if they catch another theropod, they often emerge victorious. For cuisine, they are off the menu most of the year. This changes in early autumn, when for the past 3 or 4 months, their diet has predominantly consisted of the seto berry, a type of edible currant that thrives in the cooler range of Titan gardens and throughout the summers dominates the thicket. These semi-sweet berries permeate the meat of the Nehamu and fattens it, making for a tender meat that is surprisingly rich in natural flavors. The Arvelith have long enjoyed Nehamu meat as a rare but delectable autumn dish, but recently it has become a popular delicacy throughout the known world. Hunting Nehamu is a daunting prospect, and fillets of their leg and tail muscles after these months of ambling about, bulking upon berries, can sell for a small fortune each. Many other game species in Arvel, down throughout Kajar and on some of the southern islands, are primed in flavor from seto berries, but the Nehamu's meat takes the flavor in such a way that is especially popular. Horned dinosaurs are prized for their meat. The neck and shoulder muscles of the shield drake is especially delicious, in part because their diet of wetland plants packed with rich nutrients and flavors results in a tough but flavorful steak. Their tails, especially at the base, are not worked as heavily as the tails of most dinosaurs, since jogging through the water doesn't really put much pressure on them, and a lot of fat can be stored there. Their meat may not be as rich in flavors as the muscles that work more intensely, but it is especially tender, so they are eagerly enjoyed in a lot of dishes. Courser drakes are, like the cockatrice, lean to the point that their muscles are hard and dry. Their meat has a tang to it that most aren't interested in. However, there is a perhaps surprising portion of the boku and avudi that does make them a delicacy: the skin under their quills. The quills anchor deep, almost to the leg and tail muscles 3 inches under the scaled outer layer of skin. As the muscles flex, the skin shifts forward, pulling up the quills for an active defense. These layers of skin and fat, between the anchor points and the point of motion about 3 inches higher, is the only part of the courser drake that has any fat. This store not only makes the flexation possible and shows that the animal is healthy and strong, it also makes for an astonishing concentration of flavor with a tender texture. The fat and skin of courser drake legs, hips, and tail is eagerly sought after in imperial cuisine. Many species of indigenous Kaimeran life, called magic, is also incorporated into Kaimeran cuisine. Most widespread are strains of magic in the crops, and by extension the beasts that eat them, which were domesticated by the first children to enhance growth, health, and yield of their produce and livestock. The aeroplankton of Kaishel constitute some of the largest singular indigenous Kaimeran organisms, with many floating species being large enough to be seen with the naked eye. They have a tangy base with elements found nowhere else in Kaimere, and their bioluminescence, even after being prepared, leads to a wide range of stunning dishes. For a long time, only the indigenous peoples of Kaishel enjoyed this element in their cuisine, but they have begun to trade harvested aeroplankton with Kaleen merchants, and now Kaishelan aeroplankton is incorporated into many cuisines throughout the known world for those who can afford it. I could cover several episodes just on Kaimere's cuisine, but I was pleased to get this sponsorship from Grisat to discuss the culinary uses of some of Kaimere's unique fauna. People are delightfully experimental with food. It's resulted in our species having the most varied diet of any creature. Even if something isn't tasty or even digestible in its natural state, we have often found ways to turn it into a good dish. As I continue developing Kaimere, queries of how an animal might taste or how they might be enhanced by good pairings will make for some exciting elements of immersion in my writing. Thank you so much to Grisat for sponsoring this topic. It was such a delight to work on. Cheers to my patrons. Your contributions as always have made it possible to continue working on Kaimere. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this step away from my usual sort of content, and I look forward to some more episodes I've got in the near future. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Cheers, folks!